Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to talk to you about a very important subject, which is hearing protection. So I've been playing drums for getting on for 30 years, I think, something like that. And in the early days, no hearing protection at all. Playing loud rock, metal, in very loud environments. A lot of the clubs on the Camden circuit in London, rehearsal spaces, which, as we know, are very loud environments anyway. Two guitarists, mostly, usually. So yeah, a lot of sound pressure flying around everywhere, getting in these. So I'm going to say about 12 years ago, I noticed that when I was out with my other half in a restaurant or a pub or a busy environment where there was lots of noise, lots of ambient noise, lots of talking, I was struggling to understand what she was saying. I'd lose the consonants, I'd lose the S's and the T's, and it would sort of, the sound would round off a little bit. And for as long as I can remember, I've had ringing in my ears. Obviously not when I was very young, but since being a musician, since being a drummer. Right ear tends to be worse, and you kind of zone it out after a while, but it's there when you're sleeping or when it's very quiet. You can hear it. So I decided to get some earplugs made. Now, this was quite a while ago. I'm gonna say this was probably about, say 12 years, probably closer to 15 years. At the time, they're very expensive. They set me back quite a bit just for earplugs. Now, a lot of people don't realize custom earplugs, yes, they are custom, but your ears change over time. Obviously, your whole body changes over time. So I think they say somewhere between 3 and 5 years, you should get them re-molded, just to make sure you get a snug fit. Or obviously, if you start finding that the isolation of custom molded earplugs is not as it was, you probably should think about getting refit. So anyway, this is just a story of my progression through using the off-the-shelf foam squishies to trying to find some. I think I was using ones that claimed to be flat attenuation. They didn't offer much protection until I got the custom ear molds done. So the ones I went for in the end were ACS, and I saw one of their probably like a third-party audiologist, I suppose she was, who took the impressions and then sent them off, and then I got the earplugs back, and they were great. They lasted me for quite a long time, and then I noticed about, I'm going to say about 3 years ago, they started to lose. They didn't fit as well as they used to, and I started getting sound creeping in. They weren't as effective. Now, I put it off for a long time because I thought, I can't afford to get these redone. They're bloody expensive. And then about 2 years ago, I started looking into the getting them redone, because again, I was playing in environments that could get very loud. And I was surprised how much the price had come down. I mean, back then we're talking probably 300 quid just for some custom earplugs. I think it was about somewhere between 250 and 300 quid. It was a lot of money. I did have to have earwax removed as well, which always adds to the cost. So I started looking into it, and then I found an amazing scheme called, and I've written it down because my memory is terrible, as well as my ears, Hear for Musicians scheme. So I applied to that, and as long as you can prove that you are a working musician and getting revenue from that, you fill in a load of forms and they tell you whether you're applicable for that. And the reduction in getting custom ear to get an ACS custom earplugs was considerable. It made it extremely affordable, very, very affordable. So I went through that, I had that done. I had the Custom Pro 26 earplugs, which is the Custom Pro 26 earplugs, which I think is about, 26, 27 dB, something like that reduction. Then after having those, which was great, it did isolate a lot of the sound. It cut out a lot of the sound coming into my ears. But then on quieter environments, maybe functions and stuff like that, it was cutting out a little bit too much, and I couldn't hear the subtleties of some of the guitar parts, especially if they was starting a song acoustically or something. So I thought, well, maybe I should look into custom ear molds. Again, fearing they would be enormously expensive. And some are. I mean, you can pay thousands for some of these with 1 million drivers in them and all sorts. I mean, there's a YouTube video about Beyonce's monitor guy who does her custom monitors, and she has some ridiculous, like, I don't know, 15 drivers in her monitors or something. Anyway, that's another story. Drivers is a whole thing I would never claim to understand, but we'll get onto that, because I'm going to show you what I've got and hopefully, you know, how I work, what I use, sorry. So I went to the ACS website, and they have got an ingenious product, which I think is ingenious. It's called the ProFit. Now, these are not in-ear monitors, they are headphones, but they fit directly into an ACS custom earplug. So you take the filter out of the earplug and you put the headphones straight in. So I thought, well, that's actually quite affordable, and it's a good way for me to see whether in-ear monitors are actually going to work for me or not. So I tried those, and I was very impressed with those. Now, this is me coming from never having tried custom in-ear monitors. I tried some of the cheaper ones, like the ZS KZ, the KZ, if you want to call them KZ, the KZ ZS Pros, I think they were called. And I found the stems on them to be very thick, and they would never stay in my ear, and they didn't give me the isolation I was used to. Obviously, I'm used to a custom earplug. So I tried these ProFit headphones, and I was very impressed with them. They kind of, I found them a little bit fragile. You had to be careful how you put them in, otherwise you might pop the headphone out. But once you got the hang of it, I thought they were brilliant. And then they isolate a lot. They stop a lot of sound from coming in. So what I had to do with that is I just had a mic, just a simple cheap mic behind me, which is going into a mixer, which generally, if you're using in-ear monitors, you'll have your own little mixer. I'll show you that in a minute. Just to pick up some ambient sound. So when it got quieter, I could still hear what was going on. And obviously I like to put a bit of kick drum through it as well, because when things get loud, you can't hear the kick drum. You end up sacrificing usually what you're playing, just so you can get you know, the definite kick. You tend to simplify patterns, is what I'm trying to say. So I thought they were great. And then I made the leap after much investigation, and I spoke to ACS as well. Extremely helpful, very, very helpful people there. And I decided to go for some new custom fit in-ear monitors, which were delivered today, which is why I'm making this video. So it's going to be a kind of, this is what I have been using, this is the progression of what I've been using, and unboxing of what I actually had today. And then I'm going to quickly show you my rig, which is very simple, very affordable. And yeah, try them out and tell you honestly what I think. This has not been paid for by ACS. I'm not sponsored by ACS. They've had no input into this whatsoever. So this is just my own opinion of how they are and what they are. And I'll go through the various stages. So you know, I'll tell you if there are any drawbacks, the drawbacks of what I've found as a gigging drummer. So so yeah, let's have a look at what we've got. Okay, so as I said, so I originally went for the custom Pro 26s, which are these. There's only one on here because the other one has the ProFit headphone in it. But essentially that's your filter, and they're tiny. They are very, very small. You can have these either put in or not put in. And these are the Pro 26. What is very good about these, so I'll say it again, definitely look for the Here For Musician scheme, because that can dramatically reduce the price of these. But what is good with these, you can see all of this information on ACS's website, but the filters, if you find that when you get them fit, you get them home, if you find the filters are not loud enough, sorry, they're not strong enough, i.e. the noise reduction isn't strong enough, or it's too strong, within I think it's 60 days, you can send just the filters back and they will replace them for either a stronger or a weaker filter, which I think is amazing. Of course, check their website, because I'm just going from memory and I'm not a representative of ACS. So that's how I started about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And then from there, I decided to move on to the ACS ProFit headphones, which are these. So this is how they come. They come like that. And all you do is you pop that off and you pop the filter out of your headphone, and that just sits in like that. And then you pop it in your ear, and then there you go. You have a custom, I suppose they are really custom in-ear monitors, because that is in your ear. Although they call them headphones, that's essentially what they are. And I think these offer a reduction of about 26 dB noise reduction, and these cost without the earplug. So they come as that, and they come in a nice case. I think they're about 100 quid, about £99, which I thought was brilliant. And they look tiny. You wouldn't think that there's much involved in that, but for me, I found they gave me a fantastic sound for what I was looking for, which was a bit of kick and then some ambience through a microphone, which I usually have sort of behind me at head height. So from there, I decided to go into the proper custom in-ear monitors, and I'm going to show you those now. I'm going to unbox them and show you those now. Okay, so I had delivered this morning. I didn't actually know what it was that was being delivered. I wasn't expecting these. I mean, incredibly, I ordered them. Now they had my molds, so they had them already from the custom ear plugs that I got from ACS. So they did already have the impressions, but I ordered these on the 9th of June. It's now the 13th of June, and these were delivered this morning. That's 4 days. Now they tell you up to 3 weeks, but they did these in 4 days. I mean, that's an incredible service, and all the through, because I was not sure about going for the classics or the ambient series, and I had a discussion with one of the guys at ACS who was extremely helpful, told me the pros and cons very honestly, and I decided to go for the Evoke2 Classic Custom in-ear monitors. They are the cheapest ones they do, because I hadn't used really in-ear monitors properly before, and I didn't want to go and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I think these come in about 250 quid. The ambience I think are about 50 or 60 quid more than that. But it was down to the amount of noise isolation that I'm used to. The ambience would have been a little bit less than probably what I would have been comfortable with when things get extremely loud. So yeah, let's have a look. So they come in a lovely, very nice box, personalised with your name, and the number on here is a 6-digit number, which I believe might be the impression, the number of the blocks that they keep for you. I don't know how long they keep them for. So yeah, it's a pretty nice box. So it's got a nice little magnetic doodah. So that's what's inside the box. If I angle the camera down a wee bit, then you can see as I open the box what's in there. Let's try and do this way around. There we go. Right. So you get this, which is, I think they call it a Revivo, something like that. See if it's not even been opened yet. And as far as I understand it, this is how you clean them. Now they do videos on this, but I believe that this is your, I think this is silica charging lead. I believe what happens is you put your in-ear monitors in here after use, and I think the cycle takes 2 or 3 hours. And essentially what happens is there's a fan in there which dries them. This stuff takes the moisture out of them, and then there is these UV which bounces off of this. I can't even remember what it is. I think it's some sort of special titanium or something like that. So it actually kind of UV cleans them, and they claim that it gets rid of 99.9% of any bacteria, because the worst thing about in-ear monitors is obviously you wear them when you're sweating, and then they get very warm. This is lovely. This is really nice, like that. They get very warm, and then you take them off, you put them away, they get cold, they get condensation inside, and then obviously that can affect the electronics inside, as well as any sort of bacteria that might breed inside as well. So that is the cleaning thing, which comes with it. 250 quid. For me, it came with it, which is really cool. We've got some instructions, you can see there, and there you go, that's what it's called, Revivo, which I believe you can buy separately as well, if you're already using their ear monitors. So that's that, and then you get the actual in-ears which come in a case like that. So let's pop this out of the way for a second and have a look at these. Kind of excited, not seen these yet. And there we go, look at them, awesome. There you go, and they also they etched them as well with, where are we? Try to do this backwards. They etched them as well. You can't see that, it just says DC, which is obviously my initials. They are very nice. So we get the in-ears, a very nice cable. We get some ear cream stuff. I think I paid for this additionally, it's just an adapter, and the old earwax cleaning doodah. So yeah, you can see all of the gizmos and gears in there. Very nice. So what I think I'm going to do now, so these are the Evoke2 Classic Customs. They give about 27 dB of isolation, and apparently the frequency range of the drivers in these, I think these are two, I think they're two in these, two drivers. The frequency range is 40 Hertz up to 18 kilohertz, which is, to be honest, I don't really think you need any more than that. I'm not going to be using these for mixing music. These are going to be to stop the rest of the band killing my ears, what remain of my ears, and also for me to get some ambient sound. And obviously when I'm recording and stuff like that, I will probably choose to use these. And as a monitor feed, personally, I'm not like Beyonce. I don't need every single frequency known to man to be pumped into my ears. As long as I can hear the bits that I need to hit and hit them at the appropriate times, that's generally it. So far, very impressed. Everything I've had from ACS so far is, you know, the earplugs work amazingly well. The ProFit headphones, I wasn't expecting much, but they are actually very good. In my opinion, I think they're very good. If you're already used to in-ear monitors and certain amounts of drivers, they may not tick the box as far as frequency response and stuff like that. But when I show you my my rig, which is very simple, very cheap, you'll understand that for me, I thought they were great, and it allowed me at £100 to, obviously I already had the earplugs, but it allowed me at £100 to decide, do you know what, I think I will make the jump from earplugs to in-ear monitors. So for me it was well worth it. So I'm going to get my rig out and quickly show you that, and then I'm going to play with my in-ear monitors in, and I'll give you an honest opinion of what I think they sound like, and I'm going to play some music through my phone into them as well. You don't have to watch that, well, you won't be watching that, but I'll give you my opinion after. So let's see in a second. Okay guys, so I'm just going to show you what I use for my little monitor rig. So I've got a little hard case here, which I got from Wix, I think it was, no, B&Q, sorry. You can see McAllister, they're a tool maker. And it was just a toolbox and it had separations, that kind of stuff. I got some, I think it's called Pick and Pluck foam from Amazon, which was fairly cheap. So I took out the stuff that was in here and put in some Pick and Pluck foam, which is great. So what we've got is my in-ears. We've got some cables. So let me show you what these are. So we've got two cables. One is an XLR. It's got an adapter on it, but it's an XLR to jack. I'll explain what that's for in a minute. Then we've got an XLR to XLR, but it's got a splitter on it, and I'll explain what that's for. Let's put him there. And then I've got a female XLR to jack, which I will explain, to stereo jack. I'll explain that as well. Running out of room, put him there. So Behringer mixer, 802, got two inputs, so you can control the gain, EQ and all that kind of stuff, and it's got various line inputs. So what I tend to do, let's go through the rest of it. Cheap generic mic, it's a Tom mic. These are super cheap off of Amazon. The reason I went for this is because it's all metal, so I can, you know, kind of not have to worry too much about breaking it. I'm not taking any expensive mics to gigs. I've got a power supply in here. Sorry, a four-way. Is it a four-way? Six-way adapter in here, which is round, so it fits quite nice. And there is a switch on it as well in there, which is cool. A USB cable to charge my phone or tablet. So what I do is I take a cable from the bass drum. So we always, in pub gigs or functions, we always mic the bass drum up and put it through the PA. Yeah, not loud, just to get a bit of bottom end. So what I do is there's a microphone in the bass drum permanently, and which plugs into that one. So in one side of the splitter there. Then, sorry, I couldn't unplug this because it's on the wrong way. So, bass drum mic goes into that end, then one goes to the PA and one comes to this via this cable. Usually goes into number one, I usually put into number one. And then also what I do, because then I can control how it sounds to me, depending on the situation. And then also what I do is I take, because the singer in one of the bands uses in-ear monitors, so I take an output from his in-ears into channel 2, so I can always hear him. And then you do get a certain amount of leakage through the onstage mics from the PA through his microphone as well. So you do get a bit of guitars and whatever come through his microphone, so I do hear a little bit of that. But then what I do also is I set this microphone up behind me, just above my head, and I just have it pointing, well, if we're looking on stage, it would be behind me, of course, and I just have it pointing out. And then if I need a bit more guitar on the right, I can do that. A bit more guitar, the left guitar, I can do that, or a bit more bass, I can, because he's usually next to me on the left, I can do that. I find it works really well for ambient noise. It's the input of it is so low. The volume coming from this is so low. It's really nothing to write home about. It's just if there's any conversations on stage, it can pick up that in between songs. If there's an acoustic start or a very, quiet start, I can hear what I need to hear, and I can hear a bit of the drums as well. So yeah, messing around with that, but that seems to work pretty well for me at the moment. So that goes into this lead, so XLR to jack. because I don't have a lot of channels. So the jack goes into the mono. Now, although it doesn't have a gain input, the gain is nowhere, it's never anything to worry about. You can see it's only set just there. So I never have to worry about any of that kind of noise or anything like that. Then we have, so then my in-ears come straight out of here. Or what I can also do is, if I'm getting a feed in, if we're playing a big venue and I'm getting a feed from the desk with everything on it, including the drums, and I want to use their feed, I can either have the feed coming into here and then monitor myself using that from obviously the main desk, or I can have the main desk come into this cable, which is female XLR to stereo. So the desk will plug into here, or they'll run a cable which plugs into here, and then this end will plug into this, which is a Behringer P2, battery powered, and then I can control the volume going into my in-ears, because obviously completely will be bypassing the mixer. This mixer will be redundant because the desk, the PA, the venue desk will be coming straight into this, leading into here. So I can control the volume. This has also got a safety overload as well, so they can't blow my ears up. I mean, I can also plug this taken out from this into here, because this is XLR or jack, so it makes no difference. And then I just have some batteries in there. So I've got most things covered. And if I find that for whatever reason this isn't powerful enough for my in-ears, which it always is, but if it wasn't, then as I say, I can always use the P2 and boost it and have protection as well, which probably isn't a bad idea in case something goes wacky with this. And then I've got a fuse, got a little thing up here. We tend to wear a tie on stage. Yeah, sorry about that. These are my old earplugs in here as well, just in case for whatever reason I need to use those. But it fits in this case. I carry the case away. Happy days. And I've got a couple of plugs on there, which I'll run another extension lead to a couple of lights. So yeah, that's that. So that's my in-ears. That's ACS Custom. I personally would highly recommend them. Check them out. They've got a website. Speak to them, ask them questions with me. They were extremely friendly, extremely helpful. And as I say, I'm not sponsored, endorsed. They don't even know I'm doing a review anyway. It's been a bit long-winded. I apologise about that, but I wanted to give you as much information, because coming into the whole in-ear monitor thing, I was completely green. I had no idea. I wasted money on non-custom fit in-ear monitors, and for me, they just didn't do the job. So hopefully any of this information is valuable, then the video was worth making. And if you want to contact me, ask me any questions, I'm on Instagram, domzilla2112, Dom Chandler on Facebook. Yeah, hit me up. I'll answer anything I can. So that's me. That's my rig. That's my masters. Good night. Well, so I've just tried them out on the kit, and they're pretty good. For me, it's a game changer. Yeah, I mean, you can see I've still got them in, and yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, even to the point of having these, I've actually just discovered I've got a phase issue on between a couple of mics, and I didn't notice that before. So they're very good, and for me, well worth the money. So and I only bought them really for a live point of view, but I'll be using these for recording. So yeah, that's my review. Hope it's helpful. See you again. Thank you.